COVID-19 has affected the entire world, including our nation. We have seen many acts of generosity during this time to support our community. A remarkable young Christian businessman, led by God to use his company to play a vital role in the NHS battle during COVID-19. At just 24 years old, Josh Parker has already been managing director of North East's largest family-owned and operated motor group, Wingrove Motor Company, for 3 years. One of his key values as a Christian business owner has been to give back to his local community, as he couldn't have foreseen how important his business would become in the local fight against COVID-19. After recovering from coronavirus, he felt a strong sense that God was going to use his company and help aid the national response. His team immediately cleared out their distribution centre and 30 machinists moved in and started making protective gowns. Within 3 weeks, the first gown was produced, and a week later, Josh received a picture from a doctor friend wearing one of the gowns. More than 2 million gowns have now been produced. We are delighted to be joined by Josh Parker, who will be telling us more. Josh, welcome to the programme. How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Josh, thank you for joining us. Josh, tell us a little bit, first of all, of your experience from COVID-19.
Yeah, so I came down with COVID just before we went into national lockdown. It was a bit rough. There was a couple of days I couldn't get up the stairs without having to stop to get my breath back. Plenty of water. It was rough. I wouldn't wish it on anyone, but a couple of days bed rest. I knew I was lucky. I knew I was one of the lucky ones that managed to get out and was fairly fit and healthy and back to normal a couple of weeks later.
Josh, give us an insight into what you saw for the need for the PPE.
Yeah, I mean, I was lying in bed, frustrated with my life, working out what was going on, what God was doing, and friends that were doctors were telling me about what was going on in hospitals, and I was getting more and more frustrated. I was like, how can I help as an individual? How can the business that I have the privilege of leading get involved? And it came after a bit of a conversation with God that I got a phone call from Northumbria NHS Trust asking if we had any space for them to use to produce these gowns. And straight away, I rang one of my friends that was a doctor and was like, how bad is this? What's going on? And without going into detail, they were like, we need it. And I'm like, okay, picked up the phone back onto the NHS and was like, you've got this, let's go. And as you said, 3 weeks later, we had the first gown off the production line.
Give us an insight. What did it take to produce these gowns?
It was incredible. Northumbria NHS provided all the manpower in doing it. The experience, it was incredible. We turned what was a parts warehouse into this manufacturing facility for them. They were bringing in material from all over the world. They were putting it through various different stages of making the sleeves, the bodies, the laces that go onto them, joining them all together. It was just an incredible, just to stand there and watch these skilled professionals, some furloughed, some volunteers, just coming and answering that call to help the NHS.
You know, you said it was you had a conversation with God. What is it that God told you, and why was it so close to your heart to help out?
Yeah, I was driving actually into work following recovering from COVID, and was sat in the car on my way over and got quite frustrated that I knew I'd had COVID for a reason. I didn't know what that was, and was sort of, God, what on earth do you want me to do? Where do you want to use me? Where do you want to use this business? I was seeing friends in the area using their business for good. I was seeing them make visors, seeing them do delivery services, all sorts. And I was like, where on earth do we fit into this? And I just got the words, it's coming. I've given it to you for a reason. You're going to be used. Just very clearly as I was driving into work. And yeah, the rest is history.
You're a young Christian business owner. How important is it for you that you keep your Christian values within your business?
It is incredibly important. It's the reason I'm here in this position. I absolutely love the opportunity that God's given me in this place, and as you say, the values that I can bring in to the staff team that we've got into the communities that we operate in as well.
Tell us, what are your plans for the future, Josh?
What are our plans for the future? That is a very good question. COVID has sort of put a bit of a sideswipe into some of them, but yeah, one thing that we were doing in 2020 was going out and reaching the community, and that is something that we are going to continue to grow. We are continuing to invest into local schools, up and coming grassroots sports, in local initiatives, and we want to continue that. We want to see our business as a place where people know us for the work that we do outwardly and come in and love us for that as well.
How important is faith, especially in your business and in business right now, especially during this unprecedented times of COVID-19? Give us some advice to any of the people who are watching now who are struggling with their business or their finances. What would you have to say to them?
It's been extremely hard. I mean, first part of lockdown, April, May, the bank balance was going one way and the profit was going the other. It was not fun. It was many an evenings on my bedroom floor, praying, living room, sending it out in worship. But you've just got to keep hold of it. You've got to remember the promises he's given us and remember that our identity is in him and rather than in what I have the privilege of operating and running.
What advice would you give to some of the young viewers who are watching us today thinking, I'd love to have my own business, I'd love to go into business, I'd love to keep my Christian values that I know and love as well, and what advice would you give to them?
Give it to God, pray about it, and if you think there's a call on it, let's do it. What have you got to lose? He's going to bless you and support you in that if it's what he wants for you.
Excellent. Josh Parker, thank you so much indeed for joining us. It's been a true pleasure, and well done to you and your team.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.